We're in the TechCrunch studio today with Rey Flemings, CEO and founder of Stipple. Ray, welcome to the studio.
Semil, hi.
So Stipple is an image technology company, broadly speaking, and so let's step back for a minute and talk about all the activity going around with images online, right? Photos are the thin edge of the wedge of building new social products, and you have very hot companies being built around activities around photo, whether
Sure.
it's Instagram, Path, Twitter aggregating photos, obviously Facebook, and now the company everyone's talking about, Pinterest, right? Where a lot of the activity is actually repinning other people's photos. So as someone who's in the photo image tagging business and technology business, what is going on here?
We have a saying in our office, it's the image is stupid, right? I mean, it's everywhere in our office. It's the photo stupid, it's the image is stupid. I would make a couple of points. I mean, images are the fabric of the web. As a piece of content, they are very consumable. Right? You can consume an entire image in a split second, whereas with the video or with an article, it takes a commitment, right? And so people are impatient. The web is constantly throwing more and more content at us as users, and I think images are so bite-sized and consumable and quick to consume and visually interesting. The old adage that a picture's worth 1,000 words, it enables you to consume a piece of content and to get the essence of something in a split second. And so, as we start talking about the post-PC device kind of movement or realm, as screen sizes shrink, there's less room for all that other stuff. Less room for ads, less room for articles, less room for all of the adjacencies, and you're beginning to see content delivered on a more photocentric basis. And I think that's a trend that's only going to continue.
Now, what happens with all the pictures people are taking with their phones or uploading to the web or repinning all over the place? What are the types of things we're going to be doing with these photos beyond collections and commenting?
Well, that's a great question. I think that the biggest undiscovered problem with images on the web is the problem of syndication and distribution. Take an image, any image. It starts life somewhere, right? It's born on the web, if you will. It's uploaded that first time. And when it gets uploaded, it typically sits on a page with a story around that image. That story might be me tagging my friends, oh my God, we had such a good time partying last weekend. It might be Nike's story about why you ought to pay $100 for their tennis shoes. But there's still stuff and context and information and commerce and things around that photo. But then what happens? The photo starts to move around the web. People right-click it and they blog it. People pin it. People put it on their Tumblr and retumble it, et cetera, et cetera. The image starts to move from place to place.
And it loses all the original context.
Exactly. Everything that was with that image is left on that original page. And so the reason I said it was an undiscovered problem, we really have never had the tools to visualize the republication and the syndication of images. Google, thankfully, has made a lot of changes to their Google image search tech. And a brand can now, you can grab an image off of Pinterest and drag it into Google Images and see the number of sites that image is live on. And it's amazing when you do that, because you can pick the most random user-generated photo with one pin that nobody's interested in of a puppy, and it'll still be alive on 2 or 3 different sites. Popular images will live on thousands of other sites. Big brands, I mean, if you entered Nike shoes into Google Images, you'd see that images that contain the keywords Nike shoes have been added to the web by the tens of millions per week, according to Google. Nike at any one time doesn't have tens of millions of SKUs, so people are going to Nike.com, grabbing their images, and blogging about them, talking about them, pinning them, putting them up on Tumblr, by many, many orders of magnitude. And so the big problem that needs to get solved for is, when a picture has a story, how does that story travel with the photograph as the photograph moves around the web?
So now, with that as a frame, talk to us just briefly about what you're doing with your team at Stipple, right?
Yes.
And what you identify as like the key problems, and how your technology is positioned to address any one of those problems.
We believe that is the fundamental problem. The problem is not, can a person tell a story around a photo on a destination site, right? The problem is, when that photo moves, the story doesn't travel with it. So you've seen, imagine you're a brand. Brands and content creators, it's their content that really powers the web. It's the stuff that people love on the web. Well, there's always new services, right? The soup du jour of big destination internet sites. I mean, at one point it was Friendster, then it was MySpace and Facebook, and now Pinterest and Tumblr and all of these different places. So you're a brand. You're like, oh my goodness, we've got to make sure and monetize Pinterest. And we've got to make sure and monetize our content at Twitter. And we've got to make sure and now figure out how to reach our audience at Facebook. And figure out how to reach our audience at the plethora of destination sites. And every year, there's going to continue to be new innovations and new destination sites. We don't think the problem is solving the content problem on a destination site-by-site basis. We think that we should be focused on solving it on a syndicated basis.
So now, in layman's terms, what does your technology enable a brand to do around an image?
A brand or a user can tag a photo.
Okay.
And the tag that they add to it will follow that photo everywhere it goes on the
So
web.
there'll be some record of that tag as it travels across the internet.
We fingerprint images because if I took two photos of you even a split second apart, they would be different. You'd have taken a breath, and shadows move, and you blink a bit, etc. And each one of those photos would have a fingerprint. And we essentially associate photos with the information that goes with them at scale. And so if you're running a web service and you have an image, and you're like, I'd like to monetize this image, or I'd like to know if there's context or comments or other things around that image, pass it to us and we'll pass back accurate information.
Now moving away from the brands to the individual consumer, let's say there's somebody out there that's taking Instagram photos that just has blown up on the service as having a great eye and using the filters to make the images better. Does your technology provide actually a gateway to a business model or some type of revenue back to the person actually creating the image?
For the independent photographer, attribution is one of the problems that's always plagued independent photography on the web. Right. You work hard, you take great pictures, you create great content, and then your content travels the web to all of these places, and you have oftentimes you're not credited. There's no attribution for the fact that it's your image. You're certainly not able to monetize it, etc. And so we are very much focused on giving. We don't want to be photo police. We don't think that that's the right approach. But we do think that if attribution is easy and publishers of content don't have to think about it and it's essentially wrapped in the photo, that there's no reason that people wouldn't give credit where credit's due for people that are taking great photography and helping everyone to monetize their images.
Now, how does the Stipple technology translate over into moving images, right? So let's say, there's a reasonable chance that everything we're doing with creating pictures with our phones, we're going to be creating more mobile video. Does your technology transfer over?
We don't presently focus on video.
Okay. And I'd like to know a little bit about like how you got the idea for Stipple, right? Because a lot of people over the last couple of years have been building all these different photo sharing applications for different reasons and innovating kind of on the margin, and it's been very, very competitive. How did you, a few years ago or whenever this happened, like, can you talk a little bit about the genesis of the idea
Sure.
for you and like what motivated you to sort of go down this path?
Prior to Stipple, I was running a technology incubator, which was funded by the Justin Timberlake family office. And part of my responsibilities were managing his brand online. As one of the world's great celebrities, I was kind of bombarded with this rapid learning around consumption of celebrity images. And it was fascinating. I mean, the sheer volume of the consumption and activity around the images of a single celebrity was really revealing. I mean, hundreds of millions of page views per month of a single celebrity's images. We had a great conversation with Getty, and Getty said, Ray, our images are consumed. We generate more page views per month for our 1 million most viewed editorial images than Facebook does as an entire property. They generate somewhere on the order of around 2 trillion page views a month. But they can't monetize them. And that was the genesis, really, of the idea that you should be able to monetize these images. But the problem isn't monetizing an image on a site. Like, let me build you a site and you put stuff on the page. The problem is that images go everywhere, and the information that belongs with them, the commerce that belongs with them, the ads, accurate information, does not travel with those photographs. And we set out to build tools that would enable that to happen.
I see. So just to wrap up, and in the way you see this moving in the future, is it possible that the image tagging will enable more direct commerce, like let's say on your phone or on your tablet or even your television in the future? Is that what you're looking towards?
Information and commerce, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we believe that images should not be just a collection of pixels to a machine. Machines today, thanks to semantic search and natural language processing, understand text, but images are just blobs of pixels, right? The machines don't know what they are. They're not searchable, there's no information around them, etc. We aim to change that so that wherever you see a photograph, be it on a mobile device, on the web, or on a internet-connected television, that the picture is intelligent, that you as the user can touch that picture and interact with it and find out who, you find out information on the person, places, and things that are contained in that image.
Great.
In that image.
Well, thanks for coming in the studio, Ray. And
Thanks
good luck
for having
to
me.
you at
I
Stipple.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.